Guess what I've set up here is my frog arrangement again, but not to play with the frog, but to determine how this Zepppelin bend works as a connector knot for two ropes. Let's notice where things are. I've got the marker strands right about there, and over here about a finger width, at least my finger width, out from the knot. So I'm going to load this thing up. I'm not going to go up very high, but I'm going to load it up a little bit and just do some bouncing so I can see how it's going to do. And I am now completely off the ground and wandering around, I might add. So I'm just going to do some gentle bouncing here to try to jam it up. And what I have here is PMI rope. This is 11 millimeter and this is 10 millimeter. I didn't mean for that to happen. I thought I had 11 and 11, but nonetheless I have them together, and with my 200 pounds and some gentle bouncing on this, I can see that that's pretty much where it was to start with, and so is that. So this knot hadn't moved. And I'll tell you what, looks like it's jammed up pretty good. So I'm going to do a little more bouncing. What I'm trying to do is just work it hard, and in addition to my weight, it's having to take those little shock loads that kind of keep tightening the fibers, but you can see little if any movement either place. So I'm going to get off of this thing now and see what it feels like to take it loose. I'm using a ground anchor here, and this is a little bit unusual, I guess. It's kind of a high line thing. If you were using this as a high line, you'd actually have two 3-route prussics tied back to your anchor point, and since I'm just a single person load going straight up, it's not a problem. So here's the Zepppelin. There's what it looks like. You can see how much I worked it, and this is some pretty stiff rope, so let's see if it'll break loose. You know what, that's easier than a bowline to get loose. It's the easiest I've ever done, undone a knot that I've had my full weight on. Remember though, if you use a Zepppelin, we have very little history with a Zepppelin as far as life support, so bear in mind you will be on your own if you use this knot as a bend. Now, I've used it before, so I kind of had some expectations about it. It needs to be set good. Before you get on it, and until you get history with it. It wouldn't hurt to leave the tails long enough to tie a stopper knot or something in there to be sure if you have slippage you can tell. It would also be good if you're going to use this, and again, we have no real history of life support with this knot. We don't even know what its effect is on the breaking strength of the rope. So unless you know somebody that's done a lot more extensive testing on this than I have, then realize you're in pretty much unknown territory here. I've used it, I like it, but that doesn't mean it's as strong as say an F8 bend. So kind of going to be up to you whether this is safe for you and work in your application.